Hey, it's a Monday. It's Dominic D'Angelo. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, Studio1Sports.com, and Podcast Heat Wrestling. I'm here with Mr. Robert Karplis, who's looking very dapper over there. Is that a Mr. Rogers sweater, Robert? Good to see you on a Monday.
Okay, campers, rise and shine. And now I'm hearing my audio through your thing, Dom. You screwed it up already. I love it. Biggest show of the year. Already botched it.
Boom. Now we're back.
I wait all year just to do the Groundhog Day opening. Literally 365 days sitting, waiting. It's on the TV right behind me playing. Just the absolute, just the you're the pits. Just the
what a fantastic movie. Groundhog's Day is, though.
God, you stink. Welcome, everyone. So happy to be here. What a great mood I'm in. Clearly, this is quite a Monday.
It is quite a Monday, Robert.
We're going to be talking all things Royal Rumble. Let's go to the folks who are joining us here. Cami Star says, after morning, the PA heat wave has started. It is freezing here, by the way. That's why I'm wearing my delightful Page cardigan sweater that I got from Saks, I believe, is where I got this sweater from.
Oh,
beautiful.
How about that?
It felt like 19 outside this morning. Legit had to step over a frozen iguana on the sidewalk.
We're going to have to talk about some iguanas here in a little bit. That's for sure.
Willie Thornbrew says, thank you, AJ. AJ Lee wasn't even in the Rumble.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Willie? What's going on?
Nice of that. Dre Owen says, hello, RNI. How about that Jericho, Bianca, and KO return? Oh, wait. I will apologize. Well, and then we'll get to some of the other folks. I ruined the Royal Rumble for a whole lot of people.
You did.
The amount of spots that I accidentally predicted to the beat. I know I am not a secret spy. I know that is a popular theory people seem to have at the moment. I am not technically booking WWE program. I'm not booking WWE program in any capacity. I don't even know why I said technically. But the number of moments and beats and finishes and surprises that I called with uncanny clarity is pretty damn high. So that is why you guys tune in here. Oh my, there's a giant cat attacking.
Cattail is there. You know what this really speaks to, though, Robert, is that people in WWE Creative, they clearly listen to the show.
Kayfabe, brother. Kayfabe. Warner Breeze says, hello, RNI. Maybe putting lights on seats wasn't the best idea. Holy hell. The number of slacks, the number of texts, the number of DMs, the number of messages, people saying, is there just no one there? I'm like, no. They put lights at every seat and made it look like it was the emptiest building on the planet. I would have joked and said someone's getting killed over this, but given where this occurred, yikes. Devin Dowling throwing us an Ayo.
Ayo.
Yes. And Michael Watson down at the bottom says, it's warm in the southern hemisphere. And guys, if you no, it's too early. It's too early.
Is it? You can knock it away. Okay. All right,
guys. No, we'll do it. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. You already know what time it is because we're talking about your southern hemisphere. It's time to level up, and Blue Chew just dropped something crazy. I'm talking next level championship belt, gold-plated energy. You want to outlast 29 other guys, then you need Blue Chew's newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's setting the gold standard for performance. We're talking 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping, mixed with apomorphine and oxytocin to tune up the arousal and connection in your brain and body. My exterminator just walked by. Hell of a time for that. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with promo code RUMOR. That's promo code RUMOR. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this Royal Rumble episode of Rumor and Innuendo. Fridays was our largest episode of the year. Huge.
Really?
Big numbers. Well over 10,000 views, which I love. So super thankful for everyone that tuned in for that. And we're glad that Dom's amazing production skills haven't shortchanged that us here today.
Not
Mr.
at all.
D'Angelo, there is some Rumble to talk.
There's some Rumble to talk, Robert. We had a couple Rumbles that took place in Saudi Arabia, if you did not know. Yeah.
What?
Uh, Royal Rumbles, Robert. And we started with the women's Royal Rumble. Uh, what did you think of that as the opening match and the results? We had Liv Morgan winning it all, but give me your analysis overall of how that was all executed. I guess it's not the best term to use in Saudi, but what do you think of that match?
The women's Rumble was it was an interesting Rumble. We had talked about it on Friday that there were a lot of tag teams going into this, and that was going to be a recurring storyline throughout this show. It opened with Charlotte and Alexa, who are tag team partners, teasing whether or not one was going to eliminate the other in earnest. We had a similar situation with the Kabuki Warriors later in the show, where Asuka got eliminated by Kairi Sane. Obviously, the interaction with the Judgment Day and Raquel ultimately getting tossed by Liv. They'll come back to Rhea and Io working well together. The Chelsea Green Alba Fire stuff was absolutely incredible. Just a well executed series of spots of Chelsea almost getting eliminated and then getting saved. I thought that was interesting. I don't know what we did, whether this was Devin Dowling, Dre Owens, or your Black Cat to unlock the Bella Twins. But here we are, and we predicted. We talked about WrestleMania card. I'm going. It's probably going to be a 6-team ladder match, 6-team something or other match with the women, and you don't bring back the Bella Twins unless your intent is to utilize them at WrestleMania. So it feels like they are going to get one of those 6 slots.
I think that's a great point. I love this match, Robert. I thought this was better than the men's Rumble match. I thought they laid out a lot of interesting things and built people in the right manner. Like so many of the younger women from NXT and got chances to be in a highlight spot. Lash Legend, obviously, probably the most biggest one, but Sol Ruka in the final 3. You had Kiana James, who had a low key, really good Rumble that performance in there too, and Lola Vice as well. I thought stood out in a lot of ways. So I thought how this was all kind of laid out was what you're looking for in a Royal Rumble match. You're setting things up, you're creating some intriguing stories, and you're building people at the same time. So I thought this was a really well done Rumble match.
Yeah, I think that they had a number of things they wanted to accomplish in this match, and it feels like they did it. Rhea Ripley absolutely felt like the biggest star on the planet when she came
Yes.
out there. This crowd was into the Nikki and Brie Bella reunion, which was
Mhm.
whatever it was. I think a number of those tag teams did get an opportunity to tell a little bit of those stories. Charlotte going pretty far into the Rumble was really nice. Sol Ruka getting that spotlight. Yes, that checked off the box. Lash Legend felt like they were going to make her the female Brock Lesnar in this situation. She kind of took that Nia Jax spot, which I
Yes.
like because they are a team, and now they seem like the most formidable duo in the women's tag division. So really smart decision on that end. People complain about there weren't that many surprises, and we've said this before. There aren't that many options for a surprise.
No,
If
there
you
really
fly
isn't.
out a Trish Stratus or a Lita or a Mickey James or a Michelle McCool, we've seen it. We got
Mhm.
Nikki, we got Brie. Great. Like that's your surprise quotient. The only other surprise would have been a returning Bianca Belair. Instead, it was a returning Tiffany Stratton. I had
Mhm.
thought Tiffany was going to win. I said it was going to probably come down to Liv and Tiffany. It did. And I would have gone with Tiffany instead of Liv, just
Interesting.
because we know tonight on Raw, it's Raquel Rodriguez versus Stephanie Vaquer in a Philadelphia street fight. So
And
I
hey,
would,
oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
I
No,
was
go
going to say,
ahead.
so I would have liked to have seen Liv, who doesn't get the job done, and now has to rally behind Raquel getting that title shot, and then what's going to happen from there?
Yeah, that would be very interesting too. But like, I guess it too adds that if Raquel wins, will Liv challenge Raquel for that title too, and that's kind of interesting in itself.
Yeah, if it was any pay per view other than WrestleMania, sure, but that's the problem we're in right now. It's Liv wins, And number one, there is no clear dream match for her that's lined up right now. A lot of things have to happen between now and WrestleMania. So
Hmm.
if they're not going to go with Liv and Stephanie Vaquer as a main event match, given the way that they had built up Stephanie over the last few months. The other interesting beat, and this was a big whiff as far as I'm concerned, the way that Michael Cole called Liv Morgan's win, they had no idea what the hell to do. Liv Morgan is a dastardly heel, the mastermind behind the Judgment Day.
Hmm.
She is the one who is manipulating Finn Balor. She is the one that is manipulating Roxanne and Raquel. She's been hiding behind Dominic Mysterio. She's sort of the evil puppet master. And then when she won, she was genuinely overcome with emotion. And they're talking about the girl from New Jersey who grew up watching WWE and her dream was to main event WrestleMania. And now she's done it. That's a great story for a babyface. That
Sure.
is not a great story for Liv Morgan.
No, no. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff either. And everybody has a dream like that to achieve. If you're in WWE, that is your childhood dream in a lot of ways, like for the most part. So like that's a tried and true and kind of at this point boring storyline. No offense, but like set it up for a heel to like play more towards to the story rather than that. I did think it was neat. I wanted to know too. Raquel Rodriguez eliminating Rhea Ripley felt like a big deal too, and that giving confidence into what she's been doing as like the big mommy cool with Kevin Nash and all that kind of stuff coming into play as well. And I thought that was a neat aspect to it and might lead to something here tonight.
That's where that was the other thing is that's where it's like the shuffling of the deck. It felt like as soon as Raquel eliminated Rhea, I went, oh, they're going to find a way to get the women's title onto Raquel, to get it onto Rhea, to then do Rhea and Liv.
Interesting. Yeah, that's something to really think about.
You know,
Yeah.
that kind of feels like where this is ultimately going, which feels like a very rushed series of stories. And we've seen Liv and Raquel, or Liv and
Mhm.
Rhea, I'm sorry. The problem is with Vegas, they, no pun intended, they can't gamble with this show. They need to give you your biggest matches humanly possible. And that is why I thought Tiffany and Jade on paper made sense. And on the women's side, they could have concocted something. Just throw
Right.
some Gaga in there.
Mhm.
We'll see and I think we had mapped it out to Liv getting a title shot at Mania in some form or
Yeah,
fashion. So
we've talked
we'll
about
see
it.
where it shakes out. The singles matches on this show, I was a big fan of. I liked to quote Clerks, the downer ending. I
Yeah.
liked that AJ Styles lost the way that he should have lost, which was relatively clean, and choked out because now Gunther has choked out and retired Goldberg. He has choked out and retired John Cena. He has choked out and retired AJ Styles. He is now an unstoppable heel who kills guys from the 90s and early to mid 2000s and is now going after a world champion who is a guy from an early to mid 2000s.
I liked it too, Robert. Yeah, and I thought the ending was great. And I thought the match itself was great and set the ending up pretty darn well because like AJ was outmaneuvering Gunther in a lot of ways and using some of his moveset going to the sleeper hold. That sleeper hold was massively teased throughout the match, and it was a great way to just simple storytelling, and with two talents in the ring. I did like the aspect too, and I don't know how you feel about this, but after the match, AJ paused there, T's taking off his gloves and then put them back on. And I don't know if you saw the FX show The Shield. It reminded me of the ending of The Shield on FX of like what happened there, and made me think, is AJ really done? And made me think I could see him legitimately going to TNA and having fresh face matchups in a place that he's so familiar with and synonymous with, considering WWE has a relationship with TNA. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, the glove spot to me, like it was everything was poetic until the glove spot, and then he
You
puts the
didn't like
glove
it?
back on. I didn't like it because you told a well laid out story with a great finish. The idea of AJ was retiring in 2026. He doesn't say when, and the fact that his loss amplified the importance of the John Cena retirement. It elevates Gunther. It makes his retirement, him being AJ's, memorable. that he lost in the way that he lost, that he was choked at in the end, and that's the end of his career. And he now has the opportunity for the next several decades to contribute to the WWE in a variety of different ways. They've told the story. Hunter even told the story this weekend where AJ came to him and just said mentally, like, I'm done. Physically, I could still go, but I really feel like I've reached the sunset of my career. This was the best way to end AJ Styles. If AJ shows up next week and TNA, or in 3 months he goes and wrestles in AEW, it is such a letdown. It's you had about as close to as great a retirement moment as you can get. Gunther didn't cheat. He won. You move on and pass the torch and go forward. Anything that AJ does subsequently is going to be diminished returns, because I don't want this is really my retirement until AJ's, kid marries Conrad, and then they do the final AJ Styles retirement match.
You're harkening back to the Fortune days with him and Ric Flair, Robert, on that one.
I just, yeah, I don't want to see it. I
I
really
do.
want that to be the end
I
of
want to
AJ.
see him go to not AEW. I want to see him go to TNA and have a little run, because the schedule's later. Like you were just saying, he's mentally exhausted from it. You go to TNA, you're wrestling. They do tapings and they do a couple live events, but certainly not as daunting as the WWE schedule. He goes to that. You have some fresh faces. You have some familiar faces for him to face, and it's a great send off for him. I think it works.
I don't know. I just feel like if you can only ring the retirement bell so many times, and they
Sure, but
really
it's
try
pro
to go
wrestling.
about it. I know, but the thing is that he went about it in the most earnest way possible. This wasn't a storyline retirement. This was I'm genuinely retiring, and it's like, all right, it's one of the things I don't love. I did love the Drew Sammy match
I did too.
and the finish. Sami Zayn is such a selfless performer.
Mm-hmm.
He told this emotional story that we thought they were going to save for Mania next year. That I want to win this for my kid. I want to win this for my wife. I want to win this for myself, since I've never been a world champion. I want to go into Saudi Arabia, a place that has adopted me as a hometown hero when I wasn't even allowed to perform there during the first crown jewel. What a moment this would be. And then he goes out there and gets annihilated.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. It was great, and like the back spot that they did with when he hurt the small of his back, and then played into that, and Drew just devastating him with like a backbreaker, and then the power bomb or whatever it was on the commentators table, and then the double tap finish, the two Claymore kicks to end it, was really definitive, I think, and sets Drew up really well, and sets Sammy up for something possibly too. Whatever he did, they decide to go further with him on. So whether that's a heel turn or not.
I mean, there's one or two options. Either Sammy turns heel, or Sammy's doubting himself and thinking that maybe he needs to retire. And then boom, here comes Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's, I got your back, man, and let's go after the tag titles and whatever. Men's Rumble.
Yeah.
Guy who looks suspiciously like me said
Mm-hmm.
Braun Breaker's probably going to get curb stomped by a man in a mask. Mr. Iguana and his iguana are both going to be in this Rumble and both get eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
There will be two El Grande Americanos, not just one, and they will face off against each other. The final two will be Drew McIntyre will eliminate Cody, and that the final two will be Gunther and Roman Reigns, and Gunther will lose because of the injuries to his calf sustained by AJ Styles. Kids, I don't know what to tell you.
Tuning into the show.
I'm just,
we should not call this show Rumor and Innuendo anymore. We should call this News and Confirmation.
The only thing that I didn't think they were going to do was I said no Jericho, and I said no Royce Keys. And when they brought out Powerhouse Hobbs, crowd didn't seem to know who he was. And then they changed the name to Royce Keys.
Yes.
So they still didn't know who it was. And I feel like in their mind, they were like, oh, this must be an NXT guy. And then they put up the wrong graphic.
Yeah. So Robert, I think you mentioned this, that they shouldn't do that with Powerhouse. They shouldn't debut him here. And
no,
I
was adamant against it. I feel like this is one of those things where if they would have done it in like Pittsburgh, crowd would have gone wild. Where they know AEW, they love it. They would be like, oh my God, it's Powerhouse Hobbs. And now he's changing his name to this incredibly stupid name that I understand the poetry of it. That he is named after his youngest child and his mother's maiden name. I go back to the Dusty thing, and I've talked about this, and then they actually talked about it on Unreal. was Dusty would say the whole like, baby, you got to be able to hear your name at the main event of WrestleMania. I don't know, hear no Royce Keith versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Get excited. Powerhouse Hobb, that's a powerful name, brother. I don't understand this. I don't understand the name. I like the fact that he was in there and got confronted by the Vision, and they ultimately eliminated him, and now he immediately has people to go after. That works for me. Wrestling Old Head says, poor La Parka. There are a few people
Keep
in
talking
the
about
in the history of the industry that I have worked with who you don't want to ever see anything good happen to them. La Parka is definitely one of them. Every interactions I had with La Parka and his son L.A. Park were wildly unpleasant. Did not enjoy them. Did not want him to get this moment. If anything, if they needed to put a AAA guy in, and I get it's like, oh, we're gonna put La Parka in and WCW guy, whatever. I would have flipped his spot with Ray. Send La Parka out there to do his nonsense. Feed him to Obafemi. Obafemi can take him and just throw him 30 feet into the air. Just launch that jackass. Then Rey Mysterio later getting eliminated by the Vision in the La Parka spot makes a lot more sense. Did not need La Parka. La Parka killed that crowd deader than his own skeleton mask outfit. Totally unnecessary. That being said, sorry.
Do you think that was a Saudi request, like to get somebody different in there, or do you think that was WWE's move to like, hey, let's incorporate more AAA people and have something different?
It was probably we're going to incorporate some AAA people, and I guess they didn't want to put Vikingo in there and have him get tossed out. I don't know.
I thought it was going to be Seth Rollins, like unmasking DDP style. That's what I thought maybe when he.
Well, that would have been Dean Malenko doing when he. Yes.
El Ciclope.
Yes, Ciclope, legendary luchador. I thought Obafemi looked absolutely incredible in the beginning portion of this match. I was surprised, they put him in there number one. He lasted a very long time. So this speaks volumes about his stamina. That, yes, he's a big man, but that's a dude that can go for 40 minutes. I love Javon Evans and the way that they presented him. He looked like a big deal. I liked the narrative of the Vision that Braun Breaker got taken out by a man in a mask who seemed to look suspiciously like Logan Paul. We will see. But Logan Paul was very much, hey, we're all supporting Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is going to win this for the Vision. We're all backing you. And who was in the Final Four, Dom?
Logan Paul, Robert.
Logan Paul. Interesting. Brock Lesnar was actually in this Royal Rumble, believe it or not.
Was he?
You blink and you miss it. What a lackluster utilization. This was the Kenny Omega Rocky Romero version of Brock Lesnar.
This was check the Saudi Big Star box. That's all that
was. This was Brock's there, and then he got eliminated by LA Knight and Cody. I don't know. I did predict LA Knight was going to return and go after the Vision, so that happened as well, which fine.
Jey Uso, talk about that, Robert.
This was the parody year for Jey Uso. This was we did a big thing badly, guys. We're sorry. Let's do he's going to run it back, and then he gets his ass kicked, and then he has the big comeback, and then he gets his ass kicked, and then he gets thrown out of the Rumble. So
did not like the entrance. Did not like him running it back and turning his back to everybody in the ring. Like when you're in the Royal Rumble, I like that it
bit him in the ass. I like that he was too cocky.
I did too.
And obnoxious, and it was like, and now you're gone. You look at where it's like where these guys are ultimately all going to be able to go coming out of Mania or going into Mania, and I think the Final Four, in a lot of ways, was the right Final Four.
Sure,
we knew Roman was going to win. We knew you needed Gunther in there. Logan Paul tells that Vision story of Braun was supposed to be the guy, but since he wasn't there, I guess I got to step in and just make it to the end. And if it wasn't for that little foot fault that I had, I probably would have won the whole damn thing. And Randy, who's your legend, yeah, he's in there as your Final Four. Totally fine. Roman winning was the only option that they really kind of had when all was said and done. And it feels like there's a lot of stuff that has to happen between now and WrestleMania. So tonight on Raw, I would venture to guess we're going to set up CM Punk versus Finn Balor at Elimination Chamber. and Gunther looming large as the guy who's going to face Punk.
I like that.
I think in part because if CM Punk looks at the chessboard like we have done here and said, okay, there's 12 matches total, 6 a night, Punk's going, I will wrestle Gunther, and that frees up the main event for a women's match.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do a Liv versus Rhea or something like that, because Punk's the kind of guy who's going to be like, there needs to be a women's match main eventing the show. Roman versus Cody still feels like the only option. Given the actions with Jacob Fatu and Cody and Drew, you can throw these guys in an elimination chamber match where Drew's getting punished for interfering in the Rumble, and there's plenty of other guys you can put in. You can put Randy in there, who's in the Final Four.
Yep.
So now you're looking at Cody and Randy and Fatu and Drew.
Logan Paul, maybe
put a Trick Williams. You put a Solo had no appearance in there whatsoever, so it's like Solo didn't really do much of anything. Priest. There's 1 or 2 guys you can put in there and still get to Cody versus Roman main eventing WrestleMania, which is the least inspiring, least exciting match you can possibly have. Except I really feel like if they wanted to pull the trigger on a Cody heel turn, you can do it in that match with Roman.
Yeah, you could do it. You could do it.
I was gonna say the guy. No,
I was just gonna say I just don't feel. Yeah, it makes sense logistically, star power wise. It all does make sense. Have Cody versus Roman. Have Roman win the Rumble. This all kind of lays out well. I mean, like it's really not. If I had hair, it's not blowing it back whatsoever. I think I would want to see something different, but obviously I'm not.
You can't gamble with different right now going into Mania. That's the problem. Sure. That's the problem is Mania is too big for them to be able to take chances, for them to be able to call audibles and say, hey, what if we just do something totally off the wall? They get very nervous very, very quickly. So I feel like the idea that Roman wants to get back as the tribal chief, wants to take back his position as the undisputed champion, and he'll beat whoever it needs to be. And then Cody, who lost the title to Drew, lost the Rumble, by the skin of his teeth, maybe wins the Elimination Chamber, and then feels that sort of Steve Austin paranoid desperation of, I got to do whatever it takes to keep that title, and has to cheat to beat Roman to keep it. Then there's a story there.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Jacob Fatu running around like a madman. You got Drew, who's waiting to go get his title back. You got Sammy, who's going to want a shot at Cody. Like there's a lot of options. Roman winning is the hey, we can put this on the poster and start trying to sell tickets for the most casual folks who are going to be in Vegas. So there's that. A lot of unanswered questions. Dre Owens asks, Logan Paul will attack Braun, you think? ? If Seth ain't ready to go, babyface Braun Breaker going up against Logan Paul, not a bad match. And let's just paint this picture right here, Dom, and I'll leave it on this.
Yeah,
Gunther needed that rehabilitation. Retires Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
Retires John Cena. Retires AJ Styles. Beats CM Punk. Goes up against an LA Knight. Beats LA Knight while he's champion. Goes up against a Jey Uso. Beats Jey Uso. Goes to SummerSlam in Minnesota. Beats Brock Lesnar. Here's babyface Braun Breaker ready to go.
Long term.
That's some money right there. We don't cost a damn thing. And you can catch us on a plethora of platforms every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern, including the WW Creative _ISH X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, Podcast Heat, and ad-free shows. So on behalf of the Ned Ryerson in my life, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Watch out for that first step. It's a doozy.
Shh.